I wonder, I see, I used to work for Weight Watchers, and I remember I had a black woman come and say to me, she goes, "Oh, I don't want to be as small as you." And because in her mind, and this is when I was like a size 6. I wasn't even like, and I'm still pretty.
She comes in eating McDonald's French fries. She's like, I ain't trying to.
Yeah. I'm an asshole. I told her, I don't know how I didn't get fired from that job. I told her, I said, don't worry, this requires work.
You were taking headshots at Weight Watchers? That's crazy.
She's having a tough time, Ayanna. Let that one slide.
Man, get out my face.
You fat bitch.
I don't want to be.
Just let that one roll off your shoulders, player. Damn.
Nah, you ain't gonna have that.
Fuck.
Bitch. Idiot.
God damn.
The government growing babies. Microchips in your anus. All koala bears are racist. The ozone layer owes me money. Martians invented turkey stuffing. Y'all can't tell me nothing.
Whoa! Chibbity babu, chibbity babu, chibbity babu, chibbity whoa! Welcome, little mamas and Gentiles alike, to another phenomenal episode of My Momma Told Me,
the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally worked to prove that International Black Love Day was not founded on February 13th as a spiritual partner to Valentine's Day, but in fact as a way to double tax the black man again. Stay woke, brothers and sisters. Stay woke. My name is David Boyd.
I'm Langston and Kerman, and I'm intrigued. I will admit I didn't know anything about International Black Love Day until right this second. Is that a holiday motherfuckers are participating in?
Since 1993, baby.
Whoa.
I had no idea. On February 13th, which is diabolical. It feels like they're trying to double dip.
Yeah, so the day before Valentine's Day, theoretically, I am meant to give my black lover a different gift instead. And that's, what does that do? How is that black love and not white love?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Also, cool.
I didn't go too deep into it. It's a day. It's marketed as a day of celebration, reconciliation, and atonement that takes place on February 13th.
That's a lot of apologizing.
It's a lot of please, baby, please. I'll make it up to you on Valentine's Day.
I swear to God, I'm gonna do right by you this year.
Yeah, it's the last time.
Well, I pray that our listeners, that the little mamas out there, are enjoying their International Black Love Day and preparing. I hope you're buying all of your items early, because those International Black Love Day sales are going to come up fast, and you're going to want those good apology gifts. I think that's fair to say.
You're going to want to hit that Sheen International Black Love Day sale.
That fine Sheen quality material. Our guest today, I wonder if she's participated in International Black Love Day. She made a point to tell us that she's single and she's out in these streets, and any of our listeners, DM her immediately.
Okay,
don't worry about it.
That's not what I said.
Don't worry about what you send. DM her right away.
She just wants the contact.
You know what? That's on me. That's on me.
She's an amazing comedian, a person I've known a long time. It's been a decade probably since we first met each other.
Probably a little more.
Yeah. But a phenomenal comedian. I'm a big fan of hers, and she's here to talk some shit with us today. Give it up for Ayanna Dookie.
Hey, hello. So is it Sheen or Shein? I thought it was Shein.
Oh,
I don't know.
We haven't done that research.
No, that's deeper than.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I was just wondering if I was saying it incorrectly this whole time.
No. If it's not spelled as straightforward as Fashion Nova, I ain't got it.
I don't know if Shein is like saying Tarjay. we're trying to make it a little.
Oh, I like that.
Give it
Yeah,
a
it
little
might be the
class.
exactly. Shein. Isn't that though? Like the 13th? I feel like the 13th and the 15th are side chick days. Your
Oh,
Oh,
side boob day.
interesting.
I could see that.
Interesting.
The 15th
Yeah,
is obviously your second paycheck of the month, and now you got a little surplus. Now you got a little bit to
exactly.
play with. You slide that over to baby girl,
Right.
Exactly.
And you
whose
have the
name we don't
space.
mention.
You
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
space because you just did your due diligence on the 14th.
yeah. I
That
did.
was my understanding.
Now maybe this International Black Love Day that we're all just hearing about apparently for the first time, maybe this is like a rebellion against that, right? That they're going like, oh, by doing it a day early, you're showing that you're prioritizing this person as opposed to the 15th where it very well could be side chick behavior.
Oh, so you think this is to elevate the side chick or dude?
I'm saying it's creating space to at least make whoever receives the gift feel certain that you are doing right by them.
Well,
Saying creating the space makes it seem a lot more fancy than it actually is.
here's the thing.
Yeah,
Weaponizing therapy language is amazing. Because you can create space for your host. Like there's a lot of levels to it.
They should have never gave you niggas Dr. Phil.
Man,
never gave it to you.
I feel like Ayanna was the original one who was, fix my life. That's where we started.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people do bad behind the term manifest. I've heard that.
Of course.
The new one, though, right now everybody's working on detachment. That's what's out in these streets these days. Everybody's working on their detachment issues to their trauma and their baggage and to material goods. Yeah, that's
has
where
somebody Has somebody hit you with that as of late? A little detachment talk, or is that just you're just catching strays?
Well, the whole thing about manifesting, I have some things that I'm currently manifesting, and then I heard that I have to detach from the things that I want in order to manifest them. So I have to pretend like I don't want it. So I got to play, kind of like chicken with the universe. It's like I want it, but I don't really want it, but I want it, but I don't want it.
See, that's where I get hung up on these types of things. If the universe is as old as it is, I'm going to trick it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could just think differently and the universe is going to be like, where'd he go? It has no object permanence. It's seen me this whole time.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I think the manifestation really feels like it's treating the universe like a dum-dum. And that feels a little false, where it's just if I yell at the moon at the right time, the moon's going to do what I want it to do. And it's like, no, motherfucker, that's the moon.
But also, it could be dumb. You've seen a platypus. Explain that. That's
true. That's true. I have seen a platypus, and not as impressive as you think they are when you catch them in person. Real small.
How big are they? Chipmunks are. But I think that's because Alvin and Chipmunks, I didn't really realize how small they were in real life.
Right. They made you think they were child size.
Yeah, and I was like, why is this thing so small? I just thought it was like a premature chipmunk.
Yeah,
but then I saw a few of them.
Listen, that's the buffest chipmunk they got. That one's jacked.
Man, Simon was so tall. Was it Simon?
I mean, that's why they lived with Dave, is
Simon.
because they were playing basketball. They were playing AAU. That's what they don't talk about with that whole situation. It was like a blindside kind of thing.
Yeah, I think at some point they were plugging them chipmunks with human growth hormone. I think they were definitely, you know what I mean? They were doing everything they could to maximize on the talent.
Right. Who's getting paid for all those concerts? They didn't have parents.
That's true. And then Brittany was pretty developed for a chipmunk as well. That was Alvin's girl, right?
Yeah, she was. She felt like an adult.
She was very developed. She was.
Good for you for knowing the lady chipmunks' names. And maybe this is the most misogynistic thing I could say. I never bothered. I was like, oh, they got
Eleanor?
names?
You weren't fucking with the chipettes.
Nah, I was like, names?
You treated them like WNBA. That's horrible, Langston.
I'm a big fan of the WNBA. Them bitches, I didn't give a fuck.
They had a whole career. They were on tour too.
But they don't have a Caitlin Clark, to be fair.
No.
If we're drawing the comparison.
I mean, who was it? Brittany, Eleanor? What was the other one?
You don't even remember.
You're
No,
right.
I do.
What are you
Give me
talking
a sec.
about?
Give me a sec. I remember 2 out of 3. I think that's pretty good considering how old I am.
I'm not
How
memorizing
many
these
years ago with this?
these girls with old bitch names. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Brittany is a Eleanor is
Eleanor?
As old as
It's a child. Why would you name that child chipmunk Eleanor?
I just feel like we need to look up the other chipmunk's name.
I'm never gonna do it.
My guess is Roxanne.
I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm not gonna play.
Brittany, Jeanette, and Eleanor.
Okay.
Jeanette was the third one. I forgot. So
Jeanette.
That was the smart
now
one?
you
French.
know.
That was the smart
Now
one?
you-
Okay.
I feel like Eleanor was the smart one. Jeanette was a chubby one.
Oh,
The cook.
Yeah, there's always a fat one who goes with the fat guy that they don't like
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah. So they were, they were loving up on
Damn.
each other.
Well, we can't talk girl chipmunks all day. You came with a conspiracy I'm very excited about. I feel like it's one that we've sort of circled in a general sense in the past, but we've never done any version of a deep dive, and certainly not with any of the specificities you came with. But you said My Momma Told Me.
McDonald's fries cause young girls to develop prematurely.
Specifically the French fries.
Whoa.
Oh, specifically.
I didn't know it
Okay.
got down to like your meal order.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. Tell us everything you know to start us from the beginning.
Okay, so it was an argument between my parents. My parents are divorced. And I lived
Is
with
this
my
what
mom.
broke them up? Because that's terrible.
French. Don't take her to McDonald's no more.
She's getting big.
She's in junior high school now. We can't have it. I'm not raising
You're
a
killing
baby.
our family.
Now she's getting thick. Oh God. Well, by this is so stupid. I've never had to talk about this. Okay, so
Oh, I'm so
it
sorry.
technically, I hope I'm not ruining the theme, but it was my dad who argued with my mom, saying that it was the French fries that was making me and my sister busty.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Must be a tough time in a father's life. He's like, what the fuck am I going to do?
those goddamn French fries.
Because
I do.
He probably seen it coming, and he's like, no.
Yeah, it's not right, but I do get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where you're just
I'm not-
like, it's not right, and you have
It is not right.
you have to acknowledge that. But there is a part of you that goes like, well, if I'm a father, I want to do everything I can to delay, prevent. You know what I mean? Like whatever I can. And if I think McDonald's French fries are somehow making these tits just a little heavier, we're cutting out French fries, baby. It's no more French fries in this house until I can get a hold of these things.
This is ridiculous. But my dad said with a straight face, he was like, the reason why your chest has gotten so big is because your mother is feeding you French fries from McDonald's.
Did he say this
I
at
like
his
that.
house? At his apartment?
And I was already self-conscious because when I was 10, I was bigger than everybody else. I was like a B cup at 10 years old. But in my defense, all the women on his side of the family, that's just how they're built.
Right.
So it's genetic.
No, the titties came from him. And that's probably that thing where in deep down, he probably knows and he feels a way about it, right?
Responsible.
He's like, I know it isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't the French fries. It's your aunties.
That's got to be hard. Where you go like, damn, I gave my daughter big titties. That is completely me and my blood. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well,
Which is
he
not
went to
a
my mom.
curse.
It's not. I have no
It's not a
complaints.
curse.
It's not a curse, but it's not a gift I think a father intends to give.
Right.
You ever see men with big hips? I always feel
Yes.
so bad with them.
100%.
Like hippie men. Like it's
Yeah.
just like, ooh, you so pear shaped.
Do you think
Yeah.
that moms feel that same way? Where she's like, are there moms like, stop feeding my boy. Stop feeding my boy this Taco Bell.
He's too damn curvaceous.
I can see that thing from the front.
Look at his silhouette. He could do the silhouette challenge right now. It's making me sick.
I feel like I should have done shrooms before this podcast.
That's why
man.
I smoke weed. Yeah.
I really never thought about that before. Like a woman seeing her son have a woman in the body and feeling that must happen as well, right?
Well, yeah, I think
so.
maybe it should be. I should clarify that while this is a gendered conversation, it's not a specifically gendered issue. I imagine that you are constantly recognizing both the gifts and the quote unquote curses that you're handing down to your children. And some of it comes in like mental health. Some of it comes in fucking dietary restrictions and shit. And then some of it's just, damn, I made a thick ass son and I don't know what to do with that feeling.
I think my mom saw it. I think she was like, that's my mom's body. Fuck.
Yeah.
Get him in football. Get him in football. Get him in football. Like,
Are you saying you have pronounced hips?
I'm saying my grandma was big, my auntie was big, and I'm big in the same way. But the other people in our family aren't big like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as like I don't know why men have big hips. Like when they end up, I dated my very first serious boyfriend had big hips.
Okay.
Thank you for qualifying it.
Which one?
You were like, I'm an ally. I want you.
You're like,
I've done my part.
Yeah, I serve my nickel. Come on.
I support.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he would gain weight, like his boobs would start getting pronounced too. And I was like, why am I here?
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, that's
Where's he at
100%
now?
my issue. I gain weight in my chest, much like my mother does, and ain't nothing I can do about it.
And I don't want this to sound crazy. I'm just asking for clarification.
Yeah.
Are you saying that your mom has big titties?
My mom
Yeah. I'm not.
has and respectfully enormous titties.
Okay.
Like we're deep in the alphabet at my mom's house.
Sometimes you say some shit and it like continues to build your origin story in my head.
Man,
I don't know why that matters.
look, man,
So what-
it's a lot going on over here.
I know it. And I appreciate the adversity, the concrete that you eventually bloomed from.
Yeah, no, it's,
The big titty concrete.
Okay, as a man, because I feel like I'm lost right now. As
And
a
my
man,
mama got big
what's your
titties too. I'm not trying to be crazy.
How does
That's
it?
good. That's
How
okay.
does it make you feel? Like, did it
You're
make
gonna
it
have to fight some
uncomfortable?
battles in junior high school.
Honestly, my mom's big titties never played like a major role in like my interaction with other kids. Nobody ever talked like super crazy to me about my mom's titties. But I think what it does is it creates this weird dynamic because my mom's been married 4 times. I watched her date multiple times, and it creates this weird dynamic of watching your mom do what is natural to be a sexual person, to engage in an honest way, but you're fucking seeing it. You know what I mean? Like there's no privacy to her sexuality in a way that I wish I had.
Right. And then because the bad guys, when your mom dates a bad guy, then you know that that's at least some level of what he's there for. And that is a difficult thing.
Yeah. You're like, damn.
Where it's like, man, this nigga, he plays the keyboard. He's only here for the titties. This sucks.
It is so interesting as a woman, because I was raised by a single mom, and to watch the men that came through. And she would just date some clowns. I remember this dude showed up to take her to her work Christmas party, which was like a big deal. And she was still getting dressed. I opened the door and he had on a tie. And it was like this real gaudy Christmas tie. And I said, oh, that's an interesting tie. And we all know interesting is not a compliment. And he goes, oh, watch this. And he hit a button and it started singing and lighting up. And I was like, damn. And my mom is so bougie. I was like, oh, I can't wait till this bitch sees this tie.
Yeah.
She came out and I was like, show her the tie. She got
like,
out.
That better be light up Louis Vuitton. Otherwise, this is fucked.
She was like, I'm taking you to a law firm's Christmas party, and this is the bullshit that you wear.
Yeah.
I just sat there and watched this man get cussed out about his tie. It was a good night. It was a really good night.
That does sound nice. Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is fun time.
So your dad comes to you and he tells you, I like that he placed the blame on your mom too. That's really nice right at the end of him to be like, it's your mama's fault, but you got to stop eating French fries. Do you at any point believe him? Are you entertaining this, or are you like, shut the fuck up, I'm going to eat what I want, it don't matter?
Okay, so my dad has like a history of, I think he looked at me and two things happened. I think he saw a lot of my mom in me, which obviously he chose her for a reason. And then he just because it's just me and my sister. Well, now he has another son on the side. Not on the side. I mean, it's whatever.
Aside to you. Yeah, I get it.
Not me,
you
not
don't
me and my
fuck with
sister.
that little motherfucker. And I felt that energy fast.
I was trying to be polite about it.
No, it was clear.
What's wrong with him?
It was clear.
Well, he's 20 years younger than me. I got shit to talk about. But
yeah, I get it.
Like growing up, like when I was 16, my dad came pick me up. And we're driving down the Jersey Turnpike. He's picking me up, bringing me back to Maryland. And he goes, you're a Scorpio just like your mom. Oh, no. And Scorpios are very sexual beings. And at this point, I'm just like, where is this conversation going?
Oh, I don't like this conversation.
Had he had a sex talk with you prior?
There's been no sex talk. Like, none of my parents ever gave me a sex talk. When I got my period, my mom was like, do you know how to use a maxi pad? I was like, it's a sticker. I've been using stickers since pre-K. I'm good on the sticker. You stick it to your drawers. I get it. That was my sex talk.
Wow.
That was the entire sex talk. So I'm not accustomed to talking to my parents about sex or sexuality or your body. Even as I was developing, because my mom's pretty flat-chested. So in her mind, she was like, I got a bra when I was 16. So when Ayanna turned 16, she'll get a bra, as opposed to assessing the situation that's happening.
Yeah, you got these big old McDonald's French fries titties.
Exactly. I got the French fry titties. Yeah, exactly. So I was getting teased at school, coupled with, having the last name Dookie. So it was a hard time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was rough. So I my last name. People are like, how come you don't have a bra? And I'm like, I don't know. So I can't jump rope for like a whole year because everybody's making fun of me. It was bad. It was rough times. But in my mom's mind, in her mind, this is a certain age that you get a bra, and you haven't reached that age yet.
So you don't need the support.
Exactly.
Damn.
She was not trying to support. So my dad, he is just as bad with sex talk. I don't know what possessed him while we were on the Jersey Turnpike. I guess since he had me trapped. But he started giving me this speech about Scorpios are very sexual beings. Your mom's a Scorpio.
Damn.
And, you have to be very careful that you don't let sex ruin your life, because by nature, I know you're going to be very sexual. And I'm like, this is weird. Then he starts naming other Scorpios that he knows, like his best friend.
You know my man Rick?
He said, let's see, Drake.
It's just giving me his reference on Scorpios.
Fuck.
And I just wanted to tuck and roll on the Jersey Turnpike. I was like, can I make it across?
I'll be honest. As far as sex conversations with a dad, that's pretty low on the list of quality ones that I've heard up to this point.
Really?
That's tough.
Did your dad give you one?
My dad?
Yeah.
No, one time, because I like advocated for my family to go to church. This was with my mom.
Yeah.
My dad would never go to church. But my mom, I was like, yo, I want to go to church. I want us to because all my friends went to church. I was like, no, it's community here. It's important. I want to learn about God.
It was like a time where youth group
How
was
old were you?
I think I was like 12 or 13 that I started making our family go to church. And then was super into it, was like going twice a week and shit, Bible study.
Twice?
Yeah. I was
right before puberty? Before puberty, right?
It was like as puberty was building kind of thing. It was right before, but puberty was locking in. And then I remember being at church enough that I had kind of built this identity of I am a church kid. This is who I want to be. And going to my dad, we were also riding on the expressway, the 290 expressway. I don't remember where we were going in Chicago. I remember looking at my dad and saying, I'm going to save myself until marriage. And then my dad, who is a pretty stoic guy, doesn't often offer a lot as far as heavy conversation. He thought, he took a breath and he said, why? And I swear to God, that next week I was like, what am I doing? What is this? If the man ain't going to respect me, I don't even know that I should keep doing this. This is silly. Yeah. Maybe I should be getting pussy. And then I started trying to get pussy.
Also, them hormones hit. I don't know if you could have kept that plate spinning.
Yeah, but I think maybe why it literally launched me into puberty. It was
it was that night.
It was the McDonald's French fries I needed.
You woke up that next morning what happened in my drawers? What is this?
Is anybody else's balls heavier? Mine feel heavier. Okay.
I can't imagine how awkward it is for a parent. I mean, you have a kid. That conversation is just, I mean, I don't know if the mom should have the conversation with the daughter or if it's ever appropriate for a dad to have. I mean, obviously, if it's just a single dad, there's no choice.
I mean,
but
I had a single mom and we danced around it once and I cried because I was 6. And you don't want to talk about sex with your mom. I remember also in the car, I don't remember where we were going. It was I think I was homesick from school or something and she was driving me somewhere. And Sexual Healing came on the radio and she turned down the radio and she was like, David, do you know what sex is? And I just started crying. And then that kicked
Let Marvin tell you.
yeah. That kicked the bucket. I had to talk about that shit. We still don't talk about it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was too young. That's why I was like, you fucking weirdo.
Did you know what sex was then?
I knew. No, I think I still thought it was getting naked and kissing. You know how little kids, they understand that there's like a ritual to it, but I didn't quite understand. I don't think I knew about the penetration until I saw, a Penthouse magazine probably within the next 2-3 years of that.
Okay.
2-3 years of sex?
I was an apartment kid. You guys didn't see? You guys never knew older kids who had a porno or anything like that? Older
guess so, but maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I guess maybe as a girl, I just did not necessarily have the same access.
Oh yeah, there was always.
I saw some shit early,
and you go back and you're like, how terrible of people those kids were.
That's the problem. Is
that was an at-risk youth that you were showing?
Yeah,
what?
It's crazy the type of little boys that will show you something just because it's the only way that they can, I guess, stuff the feelings down. It's nuts.
Bro, I remember hanging out with this girl in our stairwell, probably 5th grade, and we were hanging out with this bad kid. His name was BJ, and she was her mom wasn't home. And she was she went in the house and he was like, I remember it so specifically. He was like, she about to give you some draws, go in there. And I was,
Whoa.
I got so scared. And he was like, don't be a pussy. And I didn't go in there. But like now in hindsight, you're like, that kid, he needed a parent.
Yeah.
BJ is always a bad name. Everybody know a bad BJ.
BJ is a bad name. Yeah, as a kid, you do think you're just like, oh, it's weird. He's weird over there. Oh,
yeah, he's a weird guy. We need to take a break, but when we come back, we're gonna actually talk about this conspiracy because I feel like we haven't even dived that far into it. But that's okay because that's the nature of this goofy fucking podcast, and we're so happy you're here. So we're gonna take a break. And we'll come back with more Ayanna, more My Momma Told Me.
Give your meat a good old rub.
We are back with Ayanna Dookie discussing all manners of young sex and development and whether or not French fries give you some big ass titties.
Now, this is the question I had as it relates to those French fries. When you say it's causing early development, are we strictly focusing on titties, or is it like
just titties,
development
just titties.
In all forms? It's strictly titties.
Just titties. There was no emotional. There was no hips. Maybe I had hips, but I don't think the hips were the problem.
No, the hips were on your boyfriend, and you hated him for it. You resented. I did. that buxom young man.
Why are you curved better than me? But no, just the titties. Just the French fries, not just McDonald's. McDonald's French fries were contributing to early development of me and my sister's titties.
So I think that's really interesting because when I saw that you had said this, I was thinking back, and it's really it's nice to have this discussion with good people because I've heard this come up, and it's always the most unsavory type of dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that's why this is never a conversation I've ever wanted to get in because it usually comes from a bad place, but it is always titties, and it's like I've heard it from milk, from like hormones in food, like all kinds of shit. But
I've heard about chicken.
Yeah, but it's always titties, and it's always this idea. It's always this sentiment of like, you see how big these girls' titties are these days, and it's like I feel like I wasn't around in the 70s. Look, I don't know. But it feels like there were always people with big titties. Like, I don't, but maybe titties have gotten bigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish there was a study. Is there a study that if like women's titties over the...
I've been doing my own personal research and the results are inconclusive.
What I think though, I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience where you like look at like college kids now and you're like, I don't feel like I looked that young when I was in college.
Yes, I do feel that way. I feel that way with high schoolers as well.
Yeah, it's like you look at them and you're like, there's no way possible this is what I was looking like at 16, 17 years old. But sometimes I look at these kids now and they seem so much older because the girls are always wearing the eyelashes and the makeup. Like, I just don't remember having all the nails and the eyelashes and all the makeup and the hair and those. I feel like when I was that age, I was more, I don't want to say natural. I felt like I was 16 years old with titties.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Same.
I feel like with young men, certainly like there's been so many advancements in like how to make a big buff person. Do you know what I mean? That like athletics and fucking working out and being in shape has just advanced over time, which is why LeBron looks like LeBron and Bob Cousy looked like fucking Bob Cousy.
Right,
but like there is a part of me that sees like these young dudes with big fucking NBA shoulders already. And you're like, God damn, is that a change in like our eating that's turning it that way? Or is that just the advancements of technology and, exercise and shit?
I mean, I will say there were always boys who looked like men, but in a different way than it is now. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like when I was younger, the boys who looked like men were like, it wasn't because they were crazy buff. It was just because this kid got a full beard and hairy ass legs in the 7th grade. He looks like a construction worker. You know what I mean? Like that's how the men look, the older boys. And now it's like you see these kids and they look like fitness influencers and they're 15 years old.
Yeah. No, it's just a different. You're right. It's a different vibe than it used to be, for sure.
But we have gotten, as a human species, we have gotten bigger over the years. Because I think about whenever I go to, like, you know, you're traveling and you go someplace that has ruins or something, some old something, and everything's just smaller. The doorways are smaller.
Right.
Everything is shorter, not just like wide-wise as far as like our weight, but everything. It seems like in the medieval times we just were not as tall. So maybe there's that. But
I mean, I went to the Coliseum and all I could think was, I bet they had tiny titties.
Way to bring us back.
These Italians weren't on shit.
Yeah, ain't no cave drawings of women that look like Kim Whitley. You know what I mean? It's all.
That was so specific, Lance.
No, if you're of our age, though, if you're a black man of our age, that she struck a chord.
Really?
Those titties meant a lot to me.
It was a big deal
for a long
big
time.
deal.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay, that is new to me. I didn't realize that she was like the arbiter of titties.
Oh no, she birthed the generation. Like,
I would say we've talked about her a few times on this podcast. We don't believe that she's ever fully gotten her flowers. That like the generation after generation have treated her, because of how funny she is and how phenomenally talented she is. She has tricked a lot of people into pretending like she's ugly, and that is one of the baddest bitches on the planet.
Yeah,
like,
everybody
objectively fine.
I think they tried to play her in Next Friday, which was really the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the one, because that probably came out when I was like 14 or 13 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the video, they tried to make it, or in the movie, they tried to make it seem like it was this crazy thing. I was like, Craig, you need to get over there.
Yeah, what are you doing?
That's interesting. As a woman in comedy, I will say that there is this line that I don't think it's like this that much anymore, but when I first started, where it's like, if you're going to be telling jokes, you got to throw out every level of, I don't want to say femininity, but that has to be muted. That really has to be put a lid on it, just cover it. And now I don't feel like as a woman so much. I feel like a lot of us are leaning into like, yeah, I'm hot too. And I have no problem.
I think.
Do you think that's because everyone's titties are bigger now?
Personally, when I first started comedy, I was told to cover them up. I was told,
Wow.
indirectly from guys, or to just, no one's gonna listen to you if you're on stage looking cute. I know. I still don't bring my titties out on stage. I'm still pretty conservative about them.
Can I just say, I hate what men-made comedy. It really makes me angry that we would tell a bunch of women to cover up titties because we're so insecure about what comedy can be.
It's because it's a bunch of dudes who don't like women, bro. It's because they don't like women. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't like women.
And I love titties. And if they can be combined, why would I stop that?
It's called Steak and Shake. Like, you could have two great things.
What?
Like, but you know what
crazy.
I mean? It is. It's awful. It's really.
I can't. You know what? Tonight, after this conversation, my show's tonight. I'm bringing out the titties.
Let them
Please.
know. Let them know.
That's
I'm gonna do that. You guys have empowered me.
That's all we want to do.
I feel empowered.
That's all we.
That's why we started this.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, when Bori and I first sat down, we said, how can we get these ladies to pull their titties out? How can we make them, but not in a voyeuristic kind of way? Yeah. How can we empower them to pull their titties out? Yeah. That's all we care about.
I feel empowered.
It's one of the major cares,
Yeah, I feel like I have developed that inner knowing and confidence that I'm going to make space on stage for my titties.
Thank God.
We did it.
Thanks, guys.
We did
I
everything we needed
appreciate
to
you
do.
guys so much. This has been great.
Let me tell you a few things that I found, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these things. Number one of the things I found is that it is true that fast food specifically does affect our hormones, right? That like it has a direct effect on our hormones. Basically, our body produces 200 hormones that all play this role in how we develop and function. And that by adding in a bunch of junk food, a la these fats and grease and fucking sugars and shit, you basically are putting stress, these unhealthy fats put a stress on your adrenal glands and alter the bacteria in your gut, and basically influences the way that your body is able to regulate the hormones that exist. Right. So like theoretically, that there is a logic to, by eating fast food, you are changing the way that your body develops, a la getting bigger and subsequently getting bigger breasts because of it.
Okay. So there is truth to what he said.
Now,
there is truth.
How direct is the correlate? How direct is that line, though, is my question.
Well, that's the thing. Nothing in anything I've read has been like, now the French fries.
Specifically, McDonald's French fries.
That's where you're going to get them titties.
Burger King wasn't the problem. It wasn't Burger King or Friendly's or Wendy's. It was McDonald's French fries.
It's not McDonald's French fries specifically. It certainly isn't like French fries hit the titties. Chicken nuggets, that's where you get that thigh meat. And then a burger.
That was my question more, is like, is it a direct correlation to breast size as much as it is overall development?
Right. And one of the things that I also read is that, to the point you were asking about the changes in development historically, we have shifted way earlier for most women going through puberty. That basically in like the early 19th century, 20th century rather, early 1900s, they were averaging in puberty around 16 or 17. Whereas now, women, I think on average, are closer to 12 or 13, if I'm remembering correctly.
Which is crazy because I got my period when I was 12, and I was like the latest in my class. Like people were looking at me like I was crazy. Yeah, because I got it in middle school.
This is going to sound. This is a difficult question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take your time.
I truly want to. It just sounds crazy, even when I'm running it around in my head.
Yeah.
What's the time between getting titties and your period?
Oh, interesting.
So that was what was weird for me, because in fifth grade, because I'm 10 years old in fifth grade, that's when we had sex ed. I don't know when your schools gave y'all sex ed, but when I was in Maryland, they gave us sex ed.
I had a couple. I went to a lot of schools.
Okay. So we got it in fifth grade.
I think that's earlier than we got it. We were closer to seventh grade, I think was sixth or seventh grade.
One in eighth.
So what was interesting is like they give you the diagram where they're just like, you know, they separated the guys and the girls. So they give you like the diagram of the different, you know, like around this age is when you're going to see little buds in your breast. And, you know, you might start seeing some pubic hair, you know, in your cooch and underneath your arms.
They say cooch.
I always say cooch.
Now you're gonna want to watch your cooches, young ladies.
That's old school. We listen to Oochie Coochie La La La. Just shortened it, cooch. So, like for me though, I would look at these diagrams and I'm just like, well, my breasts are over here on like stage 14, but I ain't got no pubic hair during any period. So it was just all over the place. But also what I found out later on is my mom menstruated late and she also menopaused late, which is good for me because I haven't had any kids. Potentially, if I decide I want to be, you know, like Janet Jackson knocking one out at 50.
Hell yeah.
But
you're still in the game. Yeah. I got you.
I mean, we out here.
Let's go.
But so I think it depends, because I knew plenty of flat-chested girls that got their periods way before I did, and they went on to be flat-chested women.
No, you got it.
Your voice, was that like a source of frustration We're like, this bitch doesn't even have titties. I don't know. Like, she got her period already. I'm over here with these heavy titties. This bitch bleeding. Like, I don't know. Was that a source of like frustration?
It was uncomfortable because it felt like everybody, and y'all wouldn't know because y'all aren't men, but like,
I have no idea.
Girls in the class, they're like, I got my period. It's something that's like chatted amongst us. And I still didn't have mine. And then, boys just being nosy, they start, just repeating nonsense in their ear as well. Like, Ayanna didn't get her period. And I just started, at that age, you don't want to be different, right? We can all acknowledge that, you're in the 5th grade, 4th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, high school. Everybody, we are not being our unique selves. We don't start being our unique selves until we become comics. But for the most part, when you're that age, you're just trying to fit in with everybody else. So it was hard for me because I had girls say, well, how come your breasts are so big, but you don't have your period? And I don't have an answer for that.
Wow.
It's like, I come from a long line of titties. Like, what do you say?
First of all, rude. But second of all, I'd say that this research does seem to support that there is no direct correlation between some of your physical development and your puberty development, right? That like some of this is your body taking on a new shape because of the hormonal changes, and those hormones aren't all firing at once and like release. It's not fucking releasing the Kraken in your body. It's just sort of like, all right, this part's gonna grow, and then this part's gonna grow, and then suddenly, you're putting pads in your underwear and whatnot.
It's it's interesting even now. I have I know people tell me like, why are you always saying your age? And I'm like, because I like how I look. But at 43, like I don't have that many gray hairs. Whereas like my sister in her 30s, they started popping up. So it's just interesting in general, like how our body ages, whether it be puberty or for women, we have our post-puberty, I guess that's menopause. Because I have friends that are my age that are in perimenopause, and I'm not, my period is like clockwork. I can set a timer to my period. So it's just interesting how that happens, and as far as like how our bodies develop. I don't know if guys even have that. I don't know if y'all go through like a second puberty or like there's any shift that happens after.
We get some hair, the shit gets bigger, and it's a wrap.
Did y'all both have wet dreams?
I never had wet dreams.
You never had a single wet dream ever?
No. I was accessing I understood how to get to my semen pretty early. You understand? I wasn't backed up.
Okay.
How early?
All
early?
Right.
I mean, okay. I mean, I guess we're being open on this. I was masturbating before I could ejaculate.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
So, are you able to get hard if you haven't had that first?
Yeah.
I don't know much.
You can get hard pretty pretty
early.
That's not the problem.
Yeah, pretty much when you come out, you can get hard. That's,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it would like, I don't know how to explain it. It was an orgasm, I guess, but nothing would come out. But like the muscles would kind of do the orgasm thing. But so I think because of that, it was just like as soon as I could. So yeah, I didn't ever wet dream.
Wow. I did. Yeah. I made a mess a few times.
It seems like it would be a weird time though. You know what I'm saying? Like
I weirdly was excited because I similarly was sort of like, I think later in the game for some of my friends. And so it felt like, oh, okay, all right, definitively I got something going on here. Whereas like before that, it felt like I wasn't in the game, if that makes sense.
Right. You're like, okay, it's happening. Relax.
Yeah, it's like you're becoming just like everybody else. Everything's normal here kind of vibes.
That's a hard thing for somebody that's a late developer to like see all your friends going through this because you're like, am I broken?
It's also not great if you're an early developer, though.
That too.
Where you're just like,
that
I'm
seems
over here
worse.
beating off nobody else.
It's just me out here.
It's like a lot of, there's a lot of like shame around it.
Yeah, you feel like you invented a cursed time machine.
Well, it's just like you're doing this because you're not even seeing a result. So you're just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But now as you get older, you realize that it was like, stressed out kid. It's like anxiety stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And like control and all that stuff.
One of the other things I found that I think, what they say is that basically like these fats and grease and the sugar all has a chance to affect your hormones. It obviously we see it in the way that we gain weight, but because people are younger, in theory, the way that you gain weight can change. The way you metabolize it will change and subsequently can cause bigger breasts or bigger butt or whatever it is, but it isn't necessarily the root cause being the French fries. It's just all the shit that you're putting in your body can change that, right? One of the other things that I found is that there are these things called phthalates. It's PHTHALATAES. So good luck with that shit. But they are something that also sort of exists in our fast food, right? And they make plastic more flexible. It's basically like this chemical that helps to make plastic more malleable. And that is something we are consuming. And that has other health effects that sort of like change the way that our body creates hormones, reacts with its hormones. We are eating fucking plastic as a result of the way that these things are cooked and wrapped, and that is also changing our bodies.
God damn it.
It sucks, man.
That's so terrible.
A lot.
I do have a question, and this is goofy, but this is also like, so does that mean that someone who wasn't going to have a body that style, like, could you eat French fries into some titties? Like, do you ever remember that? I remember, like, specifically, I feel like girls I knew who developed young, the girls who didn't always had, like, some excuse. Like, I remember there was this girl I went to junior high school with who had like, she didn't have titties and she came back with big titties. And all these, it was around the time that Bowflex came out. And all these girls were like, she just went to her dad's house and hit a Bowflex all summer. And that's why she's got titties. And
that's not even what a Bowflex does.
That's we talking about that.
It's children. But like, does that mean that are there people are there people French frying their way into a body that they weren't going to have?
So one of the things that I found, it says that basically
I'm gonna have to take a walk after this.
No, great question. And you sit in it. But one of the things that I found is that we do fully acknowledge that women are seeing or having their puberty is happening earlier and earlier for every generation. Women is who we're talking about in this conversation, but I assume it's also happening for boys. But they basically say that all of these factors, like a study found that the precocious puberty in girls increased six times from 1998 to 2017.
God,
so like,
what?
Damn.
A fucking insane increase. But one of the things or the factors that they point
That's
to,
faster than climate change.
Dog, it's nuts. It's nuts what's happening. But the thing that they point to is there are four main reasons. And the first being obesity, a la eating a bunch of fast food, French fries, shitty things, diet, eating a lot of processed, high fat foods, race and ethnicity. Black and Hispanic girls and children typically begin puberty earlier. I would assume that in part is because of a poverty gap that they're probably not acknowledging.
Issues. Yep.
Exactly. That like more often than not, we are being forced to eat foods that are processed. Because
living in food deserts.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
And then finally, and this goes back to what we were just talking about with that weird word, chemical exposures. So the more chemicals we are exposed to and the more fat and or processed foods we are exposed to, the more likely you are going to have these hormonal changes faster and more often.
But that goes, even that last part, the chemicals, that goes back to your socioeconomic issues, because chances are they're going to build factories near you. They're going to build all kinds of nonsense in communities that don't have the resources to say, no, don't put that in our neighborhood. And it's so sad. I
No,
mean,
it stinks.
I have lupus, and lupus impacts Black and brown women at higher rates than our white counterparts. And lupus, what they're starting to see is a lot of these autoimmune conditions, why they impact women more than men, is because women, we have three main hormones. We have progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone, whereas y'all just have testosterone. And I can even tell that, like, when I'm on my period, my lupus symptoms will flare up and they will cycle with that. So I see why it impacts women more, because it seems like we just have a heavier cocktail of hormones to deal with than you guys do.
Yeah.
So we're more vulnerable.
Yeah, I think women historically have shown to put on weight faster because your natural like body fat percentage is a different configuration than men. I think all of it results, certainly based off of what I'm reading, it results in visual indicators of a change faster and clearer for women than it does for men. Whether that change is as a result of McDonald's French fries or some other hormone firing in your body is up for debate. But I think ultimately what we're talking about is we see it in women, and subsequently we treat women differently as a result of some shit that's happening in their body that more often than not they have no control over.
Yeah. The other thing too, I think about that whole socioeconomic thing as far as race goes, even like what in our community is considered attractive. Like the more shapely we are or thick women are, it's when I worked at Weight Watchers, it was interesting because, the white women coming here, they try to damn near disappear. They're like, how low can I get these points? Whereas the Black women, their first concern is, I don't want to lose my curves. I don't want to lose my curves. And I had to explain to them, like, your curves are your bone structure. Like, no matter how much weight I lose, my mom's a very hippie person. I'm built like her. I'm going to always I could get down to some ridiculous weight, but just your bone structure is, you can't get rid of bone and you can't build bones. If you don't have hips to begin with, you're not going to have hips. But just in our culture, it's just deemed more attractive to be thicker. And I wonder how much that affects our health.
I would,
I
wonder how long that's been the beauty standard is what I would question behind that. Like, how far back does that go? Mm-hmm. It seems that it is for sure increased, right? Mm-hmm. Like, people, the standard is thicker. Like, sometimes you'll be on Instagram or wherever you look at your smut and you'll be like, God damn, this is not even this is a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then you go back and you think about who was the woman that they had taken all over Europe and stuff as a circus freak because of the size of her ass. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe it does go way far back. I would wonder the history on that.
In some ways, it feels like us getting left with the scraps and then making soul food out of it. Do you know what I mean? That like
delicious
we are being, but we're being fed these fatty, almost like non-functional foods that then changes the shape of generations of children and adults, right? And so you either live in sort of this deep self-hatred, being like, we do not look like our oppressor, or you go like, nah, this is what a person's supposed to look like. This is a new type of beauty standard that we can establish for ourselves.
We do that a lot. We're very good at taking trauma and tragedy and finding joy with it and celebrating.
And it's working perfectly.
I don't feel like these bodies are trauma and tragedy always, though. I feel like that's not a fair parallel, right?
I think maybe it's less of it being directly trauma and tragedy and more born from the trauma and tragedy of generations before us, right? That it's not it's not that our beauty standards are a reflection of trauma and tragedy, but more our beauty standards were established by people who were sort of living under a type of oppression that required them to rethink how all of this works.
Also, if women are going through puberty at an earlier age, that even though they might physically be presenting these things, I'm sure there's something emotionally happening in there as well, which I wonder contributes to like just over sexualizing of girls at a younger age.
Right.
How all of that, I would need more time to like really think that through. So I don't want to misspeak, but it's just like, how does that, as a community, how does that really impact?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think you're supposed to tell your daughter that the month that she's born in is going to make her super horny. So yeah, I think just being careful in the way that you speak to young girls is makes a big impact on the way that they see themselves, the way that they're ultimately treated in the world. We really, right from the beginning, have a lot of sway, maybe more than we like to acknowledge.
I agree.
Damn. Well, I wish that I could say that this ends more optimistically. It seems, if we are all agreeing on it, that your dad was right. McDonald's French fries do make big old titties.
Also, Scorpios are very sexual.
But he wasn't right that it was exclusively titties. They make big old everything. And so if you can, find a healthier alternative. And if you can't, I don't know, man, French fries are the best. And enjoy yourself. We're not here to yuck your yum.
We love those titties.
We love those titties. And we love that chicken from Popeyes.
I have nothing. I have no follow-up. I'm looking at y'all like, I don't know what y'all expect me to do right now.
No, that's the thing about this podcast. Yeah,
Salute.
It makes you feel complicated.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you want? We did the most responsible thing we could have done, given that this started off at McDonald's makes your titties big. I think that's.
I just want to say, when this came in, I was very nervous about this conversation. And I think this went the best. Yeah, we're talking about underage titties. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared. I have to work. I have a family.
I didn't even think about it. I sent it and I asked, I was like, is this appropriate?
I got people that rely on me. You got me out here talking about little titties.
I didn't mean to disrupt your sleep.
No, guy. It's fine. It went. That's what I'm saying. It went very well. This went really great.
Can I say this? It never made me nervous once, and maybe that's a problem with me. Maybe that's.
You weren't.
I also.
Are you serious? You weren't at all?
No, I was like, yeah, we'll be okay. Yeah, it'll be all right.
I saw this shit, and I just was like, I saw it. I was like, man, there's about to be a Deadline article about it. That shit's going down. I'm the darkest
Comedian
one. I'm
David
getting out
Borey
first.
has hard-formed opinions about little titties.
I am dark-skinned enough and not famous enough that you could really get me out of here.
Damn, that's
real.
For
real.
Fuck. Yeah,
I gotta get bigger. You know what I mean?
I did not know my topic was irresponsible. And see, This is why you came in hot talking to me, telling me I couldn't call you Dave.
Yeah, that's really what it was. I had to let you know.
You should have told me up top you were angry. Why did you just say that? Send me being so nice to me. Like, no,
I'm not about to give you no colloquials. You trying to ruin my life.
My life, my career, starve my family. Bitch, you calling me David.
Ayanna, this is so fun. Could you tell the people where they can find you and what cool shit you have going on?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. You can find me on Instagram at Dookie. That's Adookie. Dookie really is my last name. You can find me on Facebook if you want, but I'm not really hanging out there that much. And right now I'm just out here in the streets telling jokes. So, find my show schedule on my Instagram page as well, which links to my website. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Go follow Ayanna and go see her live. That sounds great. Boria, what you got?
December 5th and 6th, I'm going to be at Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas. My favorite town to do comedy in. And other than that, come see us at the final dates of the Start the Steel tour. We've been really hitting our stride this last few episodes. So come out.
Yeah, I would say so. It's been the tour has been wrapping up beautifully. Philly was dope. San Francisco was dope. Brooklyn was unbelievable. It really has been a great. Boston was fun. It's been a great run. So if you have not yet bought your tickets, please come and see us. We are going to be in Portland and we're going to be in Seattle, and then that's going to be the whole shebang. And I have some dates coming up in the new year, but I ain't gonna waste your time with them. February and the like. I'll be hitting the road again with a brand new hour that I'm very excited about. And more importantly, you can follow me at Langston Kerman on all social media platforms if you want to send us your own drops, your own conspiracy theories. If you want to tell us how big your titties are and how they got that way, send it all to mymommapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Bori, you were about to say something?
Also, call in 844 Lil Moms.
844 Lil Moms.
We have a phone number now. Call in. We got some emails. I listened through. Y'all are crazy. And we want to hear more of it.
We got some calls. We want everybody to call. If you're a faithful Lil Mama, then go ahead and pick up the phone. Call us now, Miss Cleo voice. I didn't do it good, but imagine that was Miss Cleo. It's hard to do when it's not me. Call us now.
Call me now.
Call me now for your free reading.
Call me now. Yeah, there you go. But please
Listen
call
to
us.
y'all attempt Caribbean accents.
I have none.
But most importantly, send us your drops, call us, emails, rate, review, subscribe, buy the merch. Bye, bitch.